This time I fixed the two most disgusting things on the inside of this Blazer. Kind of hard to steer without a wheel. Alright, so it's time to remove this nasty old steering wheel. There's the old cover. As you can see here, there's a big tear in the top of the wheel, so that's why the previous owner had that on there. And it's a little beat up, kind of disgusting and dirty. Now first that comes off. It should be attached, but it's not. Alright, so 21mm socket here to remove the retaining nut. That came off pretty simple. Of course, like most things, it's all about having the right tools, so I did go up to the auto parts store and got a steering wheel puller. Most stores have the loan a tool program where you buy it, but then you can return it once you're done using it, so that's what I did here. This is actually something else I've never done on a vehicle before, so this will be a learning experience for me too. I think this is how you do it. I need to figure out what bolts fit this thread pattern for the GM wheel. Probably not that one. Not that one either. Okay. Oh, nope, there we go. So we'll put that in there. The center that's going to rest on this pin for the steering column, that nut that we just took off. Get that started. We're going to want to run those down. That gives us something to pull on. That should be tight enough for what we need. I'll make sure I get the right socket for this. Probably should have done that first. Tighten these down a little bit more. At least for me on this puller, these are all 13mm. So this gets run down until we reconnect with that shaft. I also left the steering wheel in the straightforward position and locked it with the column lock. That way I know that it goes back on straight with the new wheel. Look at that. That's off. Kind of hard to steer without a wheel. Alright, so here's my new wheel. And this wheel does require the use of an adapter, so I've got that to go along with it, otherwise we wouldn't be able to install this. So we'll reference the instructions here, make sure I do this correctly. Alright, let's put the horn contact back in off the old wheel. This does have a reference. This is the new adapter from the kit, so this has got a reference for the top here. So, horn wire, I believe, needs to go through this hole. Alright, so there's that. And that's why you're supposed to disconnect the fuse of the battery. Sorry, dogs. Nope, I think I did that wrong. Alright, well here's another tip. I didn't really look or understand in the directions. The stock wire for the horn the little plastic coupler locking piece is too long, so it hits the new wheel cover. So make sure you do change that out for the new one that's in the kit. So I'm going to go back and do that now. Alright, so I figured out how to get the horn button on there, but I didn't realize, or it's probably in the instructions, but I didn't see it clearly before, was you've got to push and twist it, and it's got 3 little tabs basically that lock around the back of that plate. Alright, moment of truth. Got the horn button installed here. And of course, as usual, it does not work. So, god damn it. So, not sure what I've done there. Alright, so I guess the whole thing's going to come back off again because I want to make sure the horn does work. Well, I did smash this wire a little bit. Here's part of the problem. On the right there is the original piece, and on the left here is the aftermarket piece that came with this Grant wheel. So it doesn't seem like it's sitting flush, sitting flat on the contact inside the wheel here. So might have to modify this stock piece to make it work. Alright, so what I've done here is I took the stock piece, this plastic part that was not quite twice that long before. I just went ahead and cut the excess off because it wasn't really doing anything except getting in the way anyway. So let's try putting that back in there. Rotating it over, it's in the lock, and now it's sitting basically flush with the adapter there. So this time I need to make sure I get the horn wire down in there, because that's how it got smashed on the other one last time. Fortunately, the horn button piece for the new Grant wheel has accommodations for both sizes, the stock piece and the aftermarket piece, which has a smaller fitting on the end there. Alright, I guess I'm going to go ahead and pull the horn fuse out. Alright, so I think I got it in the channel this time. I'll try to hold that really tight and flat up against there so that it doesn't come out this time. Of course, this tab's a little too wide now to fit through the hole on the wheel. Try this again. Alright, I think that's better this time. Tighten this back up. Alright, before I put the rest of the button back in there, let's make sure we've got a good ground connection for the horn this time. Make sure it works this time. Seems like it's good. Alright, so here's what I did wrong. That piece of foil, because this is a painted wheel, needs to go on the base of the wheel there, in between that and the horn button plate. So with that down there, it does work. So I just took the fuse out because it's going to go off non-stop now. So I'm going to try to reassemble here and see if it works when it's all back together this time. Hopefully it does. Alright, so finally it works. I got that in there. I think I got that straight. Alright, so first drive here with the new wheel. So this is definitely smaller than the stock wheel, as I knew when I ordered it. It does feel a little weird, but no trouble turning the wheel or anything like that. It also feels a little weird to not have the giant steering wheel cover on here, so the wheel's a little thinner as the stock wheel was without the cover. So feels pretty good. I kind of wish I'd have spent a little bit more money and opted for an actual leather steering wheel. This wheel was a cheaper one, and it does not have a leather cover on it. So I may look at getting just a leather cover to put over this steering wheel at some point in the future, or I might just get another better Grant wheel that fits on the hub assembly adapter that I got and replace that with a better wheel. So we'll see in the future. Of course, I'm going to leave this on here for a while and enjoy not having a cruddy wheel and a cheap and nasty steering wheel cover on it. So definitely classes up the interior a little bit. Pretty sure I got this on here straight, but even the old wheel wasn't quite straight since the last time I got an alignment done. It's been a little over a year, so I do need to take it back into the alignment shop and get them to check everything again and try to straighten the wheel out, since it's been slightly off center ever since they did the last alignment. One other note here, with the wheel being smaller, it does block the gauges a little bit more than the old wheel did. I can still see the speedometer pretty clearly, but the tops of the upper gauges for fuel, battery, oil temperature, and water temperature and oil pressure, the tops of the gauges are cut off there in the corner. But otherwise, it does feel really nice. It definitely looks a lot nicer in here having this, and of course now I just got to get to work cleaning those seat belts and cleaning up the rest of the interior here. So now that the steering wheel is done, I'm going to go ahead and pull the seat belts out here so I can get those cleaned up as well. Alright, so I got the passenger side free here. $0.37. So I'm going to spray these down with a little bit of upholstery cleaner, let that soak, and then I'll take them outside and pressure wash them. Alright, so I have the belts all laid out here. Went ahead and used some kitchen clips to keep the retractors out for the one side, and then of course I didn't have enough to do both sides, so for the passenger side I just used some string and tied that up, so I'll cut that off when we're done, and that way the seat belts don't retract. Alright, now I'll go hang this one up to dry and come back and check on them in a little while. Alright, so here's the finished product with the clean seat belts reinstalled. I also did a quick wipe down on the interior and cleaned it up a little bit. The seat belts are so much cleaner, especially the driver's side here. It was really disgusting and almost black in several spots, and you can see there it's almost like brand new again. It also feels much nicer too when I grab it to put it on. It does not feel sticky or oily. Actually feels a lot lighter too, so much nicer. Big shout out again to Saab Kyle04 for this idea from his video on his GMC Jimmy. So there you go. So that's going to do it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. Please like the video if you did. Subscribe if you haven't so you don't miss the next one. Leave a comment down below if you've got something to add, and I'll see you next time.